figure out, because the cables coming here are literally just, this is for this external pump. We've got, this is for the hot water zone valve, this is cylinder stat, this is the boiler power, then we've also got the fuse put and that. So we actually don't have any signal cables here coming back from the manifold, which is a problem, because even if we replace the two wiring centers there, how are we going to get that to talk to the boiler? This is where we may need one of those RF switches, or because it's just on the other side, there might be an opportunity to run a feed back here. Hello V-Man.
Hello.
What are we today? It is the 14th of July, and right now I'm giving you the weather report because we got good weather. It's 24 degrees already. It's gonna be hitting around 27, 28 today, I believe. I just got back from Rome yesterday from my mate's wedding, and it was absolutely scorching out there. Ceremony was beautiful. Back today, back to work, and I'm here today. I've got to help V-Man out. He's working in this big site, which, was it? Is this a HMO? No. You're just doing a full plumbing on there.
Yeah, full plumbing. 5 bathrooms.
5 bathrooms he's doing on here. They've got some issues with the underfloor heat and the heating system, where it's not working as it should be. Excuse the wind noise. I'm drafted in to investigate, see what's going on. Yeah, let's just go in and find out. Right, here is the job. So we've got a heat only intergas boiler here and vented cylinder here. The system's been pressurized. I think these vessels are all, well, that one's definitely gone, that's not even connected. That vessel's had it. There's another vessel here which I think has had it as well. For some reason, instead of a normal central heating pump, they've put a solar pump on this, because obviously it's a heat only boiler, so it's going to need an external pump. Now, there's an underfloor heat manifold here, there's underfloor heat on the ground floor and radiators upstairs. I'm here to basically work out what's what and what's controlling what. We've got a twin channel programmer here. We've got kind of a wiring center here. So we've got that zone valve from there has been extended. So that's this white cable here. So I'll follow that into there. There doesn't seem to be a zone valve for the, well, I haven't actually looked if there is a zone valve for the central heating, but there's, let me take you around this way. This thing is a complete mess, but let me take you around. So here we've got 2 underfloor heating manifolds, and first thing what I've done is I've just opened up the wiring centers to see how many thermostats we've got. So we've got 4 thermostats on this wiring center. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4, and we've got 4 here. 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got 4 cables in there, and I've just walked around the ground floor. I found there's 8 of these, so that marries up. We've got 8 thermostats controlling these, but not all of them seem to have a display, so I don't know if they're battery operated and they run out of batteries. There's only 2 which seem to have displays on them, 1 which is missing completely, so we don't know where that is. So it may be a case of I may need to replace the thermostats with heat miser ones or other equivalents, or, well, that might be a job for later on. That'll be further works. Today is just basically trying to suss out how the system works, and yeah, basically that, how the system works and what's controlling what. And we've got a couple of zone valves here. Don't know if you can, I can't even see. Where's the zone valve? There it is. There's one there. There's one here. So we know we've got 3 zone valves, for 1 for each underfloor heating manifold, 1 for the hot water. We don't know if there is a thermostat or a zone valve for the central heating, which runs upstairs, but there's also a few radiators downstairs as well, which is a little bit confusing. But first I want to try and get this all running. So we've got right now 1, 2 flow meters open there, and on this side we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 open there. So we want to try and firstly get all the thermostats working and figure out what's controlling what, and then we can get the underfloor heating to run properly. Once the underfloor heating's up and running, then we can suss out in that wiring center what's doing what and where everything's being controlled by. Because V was saying that the underfloor heating pumps, they just come on constantly. So I don't know if that's because it's a faulty zone valve and it's sending the faults live to it. Because remember, on these, the zone valve is being controlled by the heat miser wiring centers. So I need to basically just do a little bit of digging, work out what's what, get my head around things, and then I can come back and explain a little bit more about what I've found, what needs to be done, and so on and so forth. Taken off one of these from here, and they're battery powered. We took off that one there, and there's no batteries in this. That's why that's not doing anything. Just found the manual for this, and first just set the time and just worked out how to use it. Got it on manual mode at the moment. Now I've got to fit that back in, and that should now talk to there. What I want to do now is I want to turn this down, and I want to see which one it shuts down there, and then turn it up again and see which one comes on over there, and so on and so forth, because this is the first thing we need to find out, which thermostat is talking to what over there. Okay, we are figuring out a few bits. Let me grab a little screwdriver to do some pointing with. Now I've turned off the last thermostat which was on, and that's killed zone 3. So I know which one zone 3 is so far. Don't know what the others are yet, but I know what zone 3 is. However, nothing's calling at the moment. Well, it shouldn't be calling, but we are still getting power to the pumps and the zone valves, and that's where I'm starting first. On this one, you can see, so this is our main power coming in. That's going to the heat enable, which is meant to be our switch live to the boiler. Now, okay, that is on the LS, so live supply on there, that's fine. That's linked with the grey on the 2-port, which is fine. But the problem here is they've put the brown with that as well. Whoever's done the wiring on this before have basically put the brown to the permanent live. So that means the zone valve is constantly getting power, is constantly thinking it's got a demand. And because of that, that's then talking to the PCB, and it's sending constant power to the pump. So the pump is constantly running even though there's not meant to be any demand. I know I need to sort that out there. And then on this side, this manifold is slightly different, but similar issues. We've got a link between permanent live and the pump live. Again, that's just constantly running for no reason. I need to figure out this part, because look, we've got boiler volt free contacts there. I don't know how this one is wired up because there was no cover on this either. Is this a heat miser as well, or is this a polypipe? I think this might be a polypipe one, because this is a heat miser one, but then this doesn't look the same, so this might be a polypipe manifold. I mean this as well. So yeah, look, I think this is a polypipe one, so I need to download the MIs for this wiring center and find out what's going on there. But I know this is a problem that's wrong. I need to check if this wiring is correct or not. And then on this side, I need to sort out this wiring as well. A little bit of further investigation to do, but I'm going to start with that, and then we'll determine. Look, there we go. That's shut now because that's closed itself off. But we still have some flow meters seem to still be open. So still a little bit more investigation to do, and I'll come back to this and see what's going on. I'm going to do this in stages. So power's off, and I've removed that link that was between the main live and the pump live. Everything else looks good. So this is a polyplumb wiring center. I tried looking for the MIs. I can't find it at the moment, but I don't think I need them at the moment. We've also got some instructions here that tells us what thermostats are controlling what. So we've got 1, 2, and 4, but we've obviously got 1, 2, 3, and 4 here. This one's already wired in as the hall. Number 4 is wired in as the front room, which is showing these two. And I'm assuming this one and this one are both going to be, sorry, that one and that one are both going to be the big living room. Maybe that is the 2 thermostats which are in there. So we've got one on there and one on there. That is what I would class as the big living room. Yeah, V, you class this as a big living room? So that would be this thermostat, and that thermostat would be controlling zones 1 and 3, and then zone 2 is being controlled. Zone 2 is the hallway, which I'm going to assume is that one. We'll probably do some continuity checks in a moment just to prove that. And then the last one is the front room, which looks like it will be this because there's a thermostat here as well. Do some continuity checks first, make sure that we've got the thermostats organized correctly. Then I'm going to put the power back on and I'm going to check that we haven't got any power going anywhere that we shouldn't do with everything off. One thing I can still see though is the zone valve here, that's still loose. There's no power going to it, so that could possibly just be a seized body, or maybe the synchro motor's burnt out on it, so it's just constantly open. I'll check that in a moment, but first I want to work out what thermostat is what, so let's go do that first. I've got my multimeter out, got that on bleep. Just firstly test that. Cool. Now V is doing that one, so if you touch them together, so he's going to touch them together there, and then me over here, I'm going to try and see which one bleeps. So that one, I'm assuming is going to be the first one. Right, let's just check the others. Oh, what? That's not helpful, is it? That's dead. That's calling. All right, so we've got 3 which seem to have continuity.
Do we need to unwire all of them?
I might need to because I'm getting
They're all like together, aren't they?
yeah.
We unwire them and then we'll do them one at a time.
Yeah. We've basically just gone around and disconnected all of the wires from all of the thermostats like that. And now I've just done a test against all of these and I've got nothing now, which is good. So we don't want any false continuities. That was just the probes touching together. So now V is going to touch the 2 together on that thermostat. Remember, this is a dead test, so nothing's live. So whilst he's got those 2 touching, let's see. So it's not that one. It's not that one. It's not that one. It's not that one. It's none of them.
What?
Okay, that's weird. It's none of those.
I go to a different one.
Yeah.
Process elimination. Really.
Yeah. I mean, I can't see it being on this side, but it might be. Touching that one, yeah? Right. Nothing. No, that was just me. The probes touching together there. No. Okay.
I'll let go.
Yeah.
And
And- Yeah. Okay, cool. Right, so we've determined zone 2 is that one. So that is the hallway. So put that maybe on the top of that. Just put on. Yeah, put PL or P because that's the polyplumb one. So do PP2. Yeah. Right. I'm not going to record all of this. We're going to basically go through this process elimination, find out which thermostat is corresponding to which one on which wiring center, and then we can move on to the next stage of the investigation. Right, update time. We've figured out all of them except, well, we know which one is this one because we've got no continuity on it. We've married up all of them, so we've put in there, these are heat miser ones, these are polypipe ones. Whichever ones we've found, the heat miser one, like we put HM1 heat miser zone 1, then we've got PP 1, 2, 3, 4, depending on whichever one this is. We found that there's a break in the cable for zone 4 on this one, because when we were touching the live and neutral together, or the blue and brown on here, we had nothing. But then I found there's a little earth strand in there, and we did it against there, and we found that there's actually a break on the blue cable, because we were getting continuity between the live and the earth cable on there to there, but when we were doing neutral to earth, there was nothing. So we can use that earth cable, put a blue sleeve on it, put a blue sleeve on this, cut this back, And that's why we put here HM4 blue cross. That's going to be redundant. But on this one here, it's completely dead. Can't find anything. We've tried doing the live to earth, the neutral to earth, to there, and it's dead. Nothing. Might be a case of having to run a new cable, or maybe put a wireless stat for this one. But I mean, whilst this place is all still open, it might still be possible to run a new cable for that one. That's where we are now. I'm going to take a break. I'm going to order some lunch because I didn't get a chance to make any lunch because I got back from Rome last night and not done the food shop. So I'm going to order some food and then have a think about what I need to do next, and then I'll come back to this. Okay, I've had some lunch. I had to resort to McDonald's today because I didn't get a chance to meal prep because I got back late last night. But the underfloor heating has been running. What we did, we just took all the actuator heads off because obviously the thermostats are all not what they're supposed to be doing. So we wanted to make sure that everything's working. And check this out. I love the picture quality on this. I'm not going to go around the whole thing, or I might do it very quickly, but let's go here. The detail that it picks up, the underfloor heating loops, is mental. So this is the area where I think we've got a couple of loops that aren't coming on, but other than that, you can see I think that's another loop that's not fully coming on, but other than that, that is wicked. I love seeing that. Like I said, I'm not going to go through everywhere, but that does look pretty cool. It's all going in there and everywhere. We know the underfloor heating works. I've spoken to Heatmiser. They've told me what I need to get. We will need to get 2 wiring centers. The reason why is because we've got 2 manifolds and 2 pumps. I could do the whole relay thing, but I think just for make it easier, we've got 2 zone valves, 2 pumps and everything. It would just be easier to put 2 wiring centers in and then Heatmiser wireless thermostats. Next, I need to have a look at the main wiring center by the boiler and make sure that everything there is working as it should be as well, because I don't think, let me go and see what it is and then I'll come back to it, because yeah. Right, we are getting somewhere. The situation is basically there is no thermostat to control the radiators upstairs. The way I figured that out is took off the programmer. On here, our black is heating on, and I'll put that on properly in a minute. And then as we look into the wiring center, that's our programming cable. We'll follow that black into that end terminal, and that's basically just one cable there. And that's the switch live going back to the boiler. So put the heating on from there, that just sends a switch live back to the boiler to come on. So there's no thermostat there whatsoever. The other thing is there doesn't seem to be, there's also no switch live coming back to the boiler from the manifold. That's another thing that we need to figure out, because the cables coming here are literally just, this is for this external pump. We've got, this is for the hot water zone valve, this is cylinder stat, this is the boiler power, then we've also got the fuse put and that. So we actually don't have any signal cables here coming back from the manifold, which is a problem, because even if we replace the 2 wiring centers there, how are we going to get that to talk to the boiler? This is where we may need one of those RF switches, or because it's just on the other side, there might be an opportunity to run a feed back here. But that's another thing that we need to discuss. And also, because there's no zone valves on the heating circuit, we've found back here 2 pipes, that one and that one. So these are our heating pipes, the 2 gate valves there. We just don't know which is our flow and returns at the moment, because even by checking with the thermal imaging camera, the temperatures are too similar. V is going to turn the system off, and he's back here tomorrow, and he's going to turn the system on from cold and put his temperature clamps on to figure out which is our flow and return. As you can see, this whole thing is a complete mishmash. So V's going to be cutting all of this out, moving the cylinder out, re-piping everything to regs, and basically do everything properly, because look at the D1 and D2. And then when he moves that cylinder out, then once he knows which is the flow and return, he can cut in a zone valve, not in there, but extend the pipework out to here or to this side, basically somewhere where it's more accessible, and then loop it back in with the zone valve, and then we can run a cable back to that wiring center and then fit a wireless thermostat so that can control the upstairs heating. Now, like I said, the only thing that we need to figure out is getting a feed over from the underfloor heating manifolds to here, which we will figure out, and then when we come back we'll sort that out as well. But for now, this is where we are at. We're at this job. I need to get some prices for the underfloor heating, wiring centers, a wireless thermostat, cutting in the zone valve and all that, and then the rest of the stuff. So we'll be back here at another date. Right, so we are now at a Greenstar 30 CDI E9 flashing. Now E9 typically relates to overheat. So first thing I want to do, I can hear something's running inside, but I'm not sure what it is. Previous experience, most likely going to be the pump. I thought it might be the plate, but it's a system boiler, so there's no plate in this. Let's make sure there's no isolation valves closed anywhere. There's a bit of a drip from this filter. That filter looks like it's not been cleaned in years, which is great. So let's get the case off. Let's see if the pump's spinning, and if it's not, let's see if we've got power going to it, just to determine whether it's the PCB or if it's the pump. Right, the pump does seem to be spinning. You can hear it against there. There's water behind it, so that's fine. Let's, there's electrode. Oh, that's not good. That looks like that's the electrodes. Yeah, electrodes are leaking. I think I've got to set in the van, so that will need to get replaced straight away. I'll do that in a minute. Overheat stat down there, back. That's, I don't know if you guys can see it, that's completely gone. That needs replacing. To get to that, I think I can take, yeah, that should pop out and I should be able to get to the overheat stat from there. There's a weep on this side, and that looks like left-hand block. Left-hand block has had a bit of a weep. It looks like the vessel's been replaced at some point. And like I said, we've also got a leak on that Magna Clean. Got 28mm primaries here, wow, okay. Right, first things first, let's try a reset. See what it does. Okay. Pumps stopped for now. Let's find the cylinders here. Yeah, that's fine. I'm just checking, seeing what's what. Right, both zone valves are closed. There's the programmer. Let me give it a demand and see what's going on. Okay, found what the problem is. It is that corroded flue overheat stat. So just called Worcester Technical because it was, I'll be honest, it was throwing me a bit because it came up as overheat and I think the pump's running, this, that, the other, why is it doing that? Quick phone call to Worcester. They said it's the flue overheat stat, and she literally said to me straight away, follow the red cables, and I was like, I don't need to because I know where that's going to. I know what you're saying. That's corroded, so let's get that swapped out. Let's get those swapped out. I think hopefully I've got one of those in the van. I know I've got those on the van. So let me go and see and then try and get this up and running. Right, new electrodes, new overheat stat. The old one literally just, where is it? It just crumbled. The spade connectors and everything just crumbled as I took it out. But let's do that. Let's boost. Okay, that zone valve will click open in a minute. It's just in here, well, it's in there anyway. All right, let's just wait and see what happens here now. I just said the zone valve click. Okay. Come on. Yes. Green light means go. And we're out of here.